Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in the state.
I mean,
that's their investment
to your
fund.
point,
What a bozo.
The Minnesota Tesla State Board of Investment, they have 1.6 million shares in Tesla in their retirement fund, 211,000 shares in a non-retirement fund. It's a relatively...
Yo.
Oh, my God.
Well, they're going to show Tim Walz. So this is a conversation around a bunch of stuff, but we're going to start off with Tim Walz. And yo, Tim Walz is an interesting dude, a very interesting dude. And he may not even realize that. Well, just look at the video. Why do I gotta give all this context around it? Just look at the video. All right, here you go.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know.
Aware of what Tim Walz said about the Tesla stock. Here's the clip, and then we'll get to Kevin O'Leary.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone. They've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, you know, and take out, just telling you.
I just want to be clear. No one at this table condones violence, right? Setting cars on fire, breaking windows, whatever, all of that is bad. But the question is, I mean, is it okay for an American company to just be hated, for people to want it to not do well?
I think go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car,
I don't think we have to
actually.
talk about it in any other
Tesla.
context. Yeah. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go
What about the broader question about the protest factor? I mean, you heard Tim Walz.
What protest? You're a criminal.
I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did.
It's about the
Please listen to what Kevin O'Leary is getting ready to say.
Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in the state.
I mean,
that's their investment
to your
fund.
point,
What a bozo.
The Minnesota Tesla State Board of Investment, they have 1.6 million shares in Tesla in their retirement fund, 211,000 shares in a non-retirement fund. It's a relatively...
Yo. Yo. You can't make this ish up. Tim Walz is talking now. I don't know whether he's a stand-up, you know, doing. Damn. Tim Walz is up here bragging about checking his Tesla stock and being happy that the stock is dropping, which is pretty wild in itself, especially when you consider, well, it's wild because when you consider the fact that of what's going on with Tesla, all this vandalism, people drawing swastikas, all type of stuff that's happening on Tesla vehicles. I think we played a clip from that yesterday or Wednesday. And he's on stage laughing at Tesla stock dropping, not even realizing that, look, the state of Minnesota's Tesla investment for their pension plan, they have 1.6 million shares in their retirement fund. 211,000 shares in their non-retirement fund. And he's bragging. If this isn't just a reflection of who the Democratic Party is, and I have to say that, and I'm talking about the leadership. This is the same thing that they did when it was, speaking of Tesla, when they were saying that Donald Trump signed like a $400 million or $400 billion. I think it was $400 million deal with Elon Musk and the cyber trucks. And then we found out that it was actually Joe Biden, unless that was changed. But the last time I researched it, they were saying that it was Joe Biden. And they're reporting it as something bad that Donald Trump did. All right, neither here nor there. The point is that Tim Walz is just when we always talk about this term hustling backwards, could you imagine? Could you imagine somebody being so first off, for you to not know that is one thing. But then for you to be so upset, you're rooting against a company that a lot of Americans have shares in, that is good for America, a company that y'all used to look at Elon Musk as him saving the world because of climate change, and he's doing all this electric stuff. So we're going to switch from that energy to electric. Elon Musk used to be our hero. Now you hate him so much and you're rooting against him, even if it costs you money, even if it costs the people that you represent in Minnesota money. Think about how dumb that is. Let's listen to this again.
It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in his state. I mean, that's their investment fund. Point, what a bozo.
The Minnesota Tesla State Board of Investment, they have 1.6 million shares in Tesla in their retirement fund, 211,000 shares in a non-retirement fund. It's a relatively small amount, but that's one company, one single stock. And that's because Tesla is a huge part of the tech growth. But this is not the first time that companies have been in the crosshairs of protests. I mean, Republicans have protested companies all the time.
Y'all know what it is. It's Dak from the OG Network. And I just want to thank y'all. That's right, to thank y'all for all of your tremendous support over the years, whether you've been rocking with us from the beginning or maybe this is the first show that you're checking out on the network. We want to thank you nonetheless. And we have an ask, all right? We have a goal of reaching 20,000 subscribers by the end of March. That's right, 20K by the end of March. It's not a real goal unless you put a date on it. And with that, we need your help. So we ask that if you are enjoying the content that you like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling real generous, maybe share with some friends and family. All right, I'll let y'all go. And once again, thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to growing with y'all. See y'all soon. Ew.
Bye.
Yeah, Abby Phillips, she says, is it okay for Americans to dislike a company and want it to fail? Sure. Look at the Bud Light fiasco. But it is not okay.
All right, I'm gonna move forward beyond his thoughts. And shout out to the base conservative. Appreciate that, but I'm gonna skip past just for time reasons.
He tries to race bait.
Wish people would take a look.
Because Elon Musk is not born in America.
I don't condone violence, but I wish people would take a look in the mirror and see what's actually happening. This is not an America First company. It's a South African First company. That's what Tesla is. But this is the same party that talks about America First and make America great again, but they're giving someone unfettered access.
Yo, this black dude funny, bro. Yo, first and foremost, a South African First company, like y'all are reaching when it comes to Elon. Why do we have to do so much reaching? If you don't like him because he's a weirdo, he comes across weird, he doesn't... People say maybe on the spectrum, all this, whatever reason you don't like him for it, then say that. Like all this other extra stuff that they throw in when it comes to Elon's stealing my money. Like, stop.
Who is an immigrant, and if you leave it to this party to talk about, there's no space for immigrants.
Okay.
No. Some of us are here by force.
Some of us are lesser immigrants?
No, you're right. That's exactly what y'all think. That's exactly what y'all think.
He's a lesser immigrant?
No. What I'm saying is...
He's tainted because he's from South Africa and he's really brilliant?
You know what is so funny about that? Y'all are also the party of the birtherism movement.
Wow, he's a tainted immigrant.
No. That's what you all would have liked to say about Barack Obama.
Where do I fit? I'm Irish Lebanese. Am I like second class or where am I?
You tell me, ask your party.
Wow.
I mean, let's go. Yeah, Ilhan Omar, also not born in America, and she is in office. Elon Musk is not. This is the American dream. You're allowed to be from another country and have a thriving business. This is the whole idea. This is why people immigrate to Western countries, to America, because of the opportunity. No one immigrates to other countries. No one's immigrating to Africa for the opportunity that they offer. No, they come to the world's richest, most prosperous country in order to thrive.
I get a kick out.
This is my holding on. Get to the next clip with
that
about Tesla.
I'm not talking about the violence. We've already established that. What's the difference between that and Tim Walz saying,
let me catch up with the comments. My fault, Steve. Steve wrote, Walz just continues to come off as a pandering clown. It's just, but this is what we're asking for. When you look at these dudes that are in the Democratic Party, that they are promoting to lead their party, what about any of these guys makes young men, specifically, because they're saying that young men are the ones that change their vote a lot. And we're seeing a big shift where I was having a conversation, I forget with who, but they said that we're seeing a big shift where it used to be the kids protesting their conservative parents. Now it's the kids protesting their super liberal parents. I don't know, but when it comes to Tim Walz, these are just not people that you look at and say, I'm proud to be an American. Now, you may say that the same way with a lot of these other folk, but at least when you look at a guy like, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's not just how somebody looks, it's the things that they say, it's the tampons in the boys' bathrooms, it's constantly allowing yourself to be emasculated and going overboard to be pushing women to the fore. It's like, yo, y'all doing too much. Like, it's to the point where you're pandering is almost insulting. If I was a woman, I would feel it with a lot of these leaders, but maybe it's not. Maybe this is just my opinion. Let's keep going.
I get a kick out
Hey,
of
first of all, Tim Walz is a complete moron to me. I have to be very honest, and I'm not surprised why the American people did not choose him. Nothing against the vice president. With that said, Elon Musk employs 80,000+ Americans. Most of them are working class people. The implications of the stock, let's say this were to continue on for another year, so I'm just throwing out a hypothetical. Will the company at some point have to decrease its workplace? Most of those people, I would imagine, probably vote for Democrats, at least some of them. So now you're impacting people who likely share your worldview because you disagree with Elon Musk. Don't buy the car. Just like those guys are saying, let's protest Anheuser-Busch, et cetera. We're just not going to buy their beer. I'm okay with that. But destroying public property, there is no place for that. I agree with Kevin. Lock them up and set an example that this is not what we're going to tolerate in this country.
Obviously, the violence is completely unacceptable, and these people will go to jail.
I don't know if it's obvious that the violence is unacceptable. Just being totally honest, I don't know if that's understood. I know that it's understood when Democrats are trying to call January 6th, or they're saying, or maybe it was, call it an insurrection. But I don't think that when I look over the past 5-6 years, maybe starting with George Floyd and what happened during that time, I don't think that that's been commonly accepted amongst the Democrats to where that violence is unacceptable. Just being totally honest. That this type of vandalism, all this type of stuff, taking over a police precinct, taking over a city. I don't think that that's just accepted as Abby tries to make it seem. Just my opinion. Maybe y'all tell me.
You can't burn a dealership and not get caught eventually and go to jail. But it is, again, the broader question here about has it crossed the line when people are sort of rooting for the failure of a company?
Well, first, let me say, until yesterday, I think I was one of the only Democratic elected officials to unambiguously condemn the violence and destruction against Tesla. I don't think you have to be tough on crime to do that. As you know, my grandfather is part of Gandhi's Satyagraha movement, independence movement. He said sabotage is a form of violence. I mean, this is not the best form of protest, and it's not the tradition. The second point is, I'm not going to root against Tesla. There are 20,000 people who work in my district who make a living off this. They're building.
This is what I don't think a lot of people realize. And the gentleman before this said it, and I didn't highlight it, and I should have. He hires, what did he say, around 80,000 people? Elon Musk, Angela Rye, who we see right here on the screen, is complaining and saying that Tesla is a South African first company. Let's say Tesla is a South African first company. Maybe this is an example of what should happen with other companies that have a base outside of America. You have to produce your products here. You have to bring your factories here. We're going to put tariffs on you to encourage you to bring factories here so that way you can hire American workers who can then put that money back into the American economy. Maybe that's how it should work. It's the same thing with the Target boycott. It's like we get mad at people for the wrong reasons. Let's boycott Target. They're the #1 employer of black people. So yeah, let's all as a community go boycott Target. It's like, what? How does this make sense? Let's boycott Elon's terrible. He's South African first. But meanwhile, all his factories manufacturing. Look at how many people, American workers, he's hiring. If I was really South African first, I'd be trying to put those factories probably in Mexico or somewhere else, or in South Africa, where I may not have to pay as high tariffs, but I can produce those products at a much cheaper in the sweatshops that are allowed in these other places, and then bring them into America, not hire any American workers, but just take the American money. It doesn't make sense what they're proposing. We are literally rooting for the wrong people to fail. We're rooting for Tesla to fail for what? Listen to what this gentleman just said. He's a representative, Ro Khanna. I've seen him before. He's a Democrat. He said, why would it make sense for me to root against Tesla when Tesla's actually hiring my people? But you get people like Angela Rye. You get these other people who jump on here that want to criticize Elon Musk. Tim Walz. How many people do you employ? You are a government employee. You are a politician. You don't run a business. You didn't create a business that now hires 80,000 people. You're a pawn in the system. Who contributes more to the American economy flourishing, Tim Walz or Elon Musk? Let's be real. We're rooting for and against the wrong people because we are so emotionally engaged in this that we can't even think logically. It doesn't make sense. Tim Walz is bragging about this. People are celebrating it, not even realizing the worse Tesla does, the worse the American economy does, and the worse that the people in Minnesota actually do because Minnesota is so invested in Tesla.
Sabotage is a form of violence. I mean, this is not the best form of protest, and it's not the tradition. The second point is, I'm not going to root against Tesla. There are 20,000 people who work in my district who make a living off this. They're building electric vehicles that ultimately are good for the climate. I have huge, huge problems with what Elon Musk is doing. Have the protest and the conversation and criticism of Musk. Don't take it out on a company where you have workers, where you have engineers, where you have scientists, which are creating wealth for the country, which is helping the climate. And I think Democrats have to be able to offer common sense perspectives, focus on what the problem is with Musk. Don't focus on the wealth of a company.
On the other side of things, here is what the Commerce Secretary, the actual Commerce Secretary, is saying on TV just tonight about a publicly traded stock. Listen.
Mm-hmm. I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again. When people understand the things he's building, the robots he's building, the technology he's building, people are going to be dreaming of today and Jesse Waters and thinking, gosh, I should have bought Elon Musk's stock.
I mean, isn't it a conservative principle that the government shouldn't be picking winners and losers?
Why don't we?
He shouldn't be saying that. Just my opinion. Now, y'all just saw me pull up a video, I think last week, of Howard Lutnick and how he was schooling somebody. He was talking about Trump's involvement with Trump and Doug Ford, the premier in Canada. And I believe he was schooling some reporter on what was going on with the tariffs. I don't think that the Commerce Secretary should be telling people to buy a particular stock. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't do it. Can't happen, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what they're, I mean, well, I'll play, a little bit more of this just so you can see how people respond, see if Kevin O'Leary's going to acknowledge this, see if the brother that's a conservative, see if he's going to acknowledge it. We got to be able to call it, we got to be able to call it objectively. He shouldn't have done that. Now, what I think happened is Trump and his team, there's a lot of people on Trump's team that I do think appreciate what Elon Musk is doing. Elon Musk is sacrificing in a lot of ways. And as somebody that owns Tesla stock, we're feeling it. Just being real. So Elon Musk is sacrificing this position in order to do something for Donald Trump for whatever reason. People could say it's selfish reasons. People could say whatever. He's deciding to take the losses that are coming with his company. And he said that it's been very hard to run the companies as well as to do what he's doing in Doge. He's accepted that. But either way, so I think they're trying to give him an alley-oop. Maybe this is why Trump was doing that with the electric vehicles. Although that I was told, I don't have the exact, I wish I had the clip. I was told that Joe Biden did that with another car company. I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter. Lutnick should not have just said that. And we should be able to call stuff out both sides. If this side says something wrong, call it out. If this side says something wrong, call it out. I don't think that he should be giving people stock advice. Just being real.
We ask ourselves about the market. It's down 8 to 20%, depending on the sector you look at. Tech is down. Tesla's down. We're having a market correction. It happens every 18 to 20 months. And EVs are under pressure because of lots of competition, including from China. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so there's a reason. It's not just the fact that it's a political issue around Doge.
Well, then why is Lutnick saying, why is he saying that if it's not about politics? He seems to think that it is, because he's saying, oh, I'm going to use my platform as the commerce secretary to tell people how to buy and sell stocks.
Well, Howard's actually a private sector guy. He's well known.
I get that. He's got a government job now, right?
And there's merit to maybe having somebody that worked on Wall Street for that long in that position. But at the end of the day, when people say, oh, Tesla's down because it's a political.
And you see how Kevin O'Leary, he didn't want to answer the question. I'm just going to be honest. Got to be real. This is why it's so important. Just acknowledge if one side does something wrong, just acknowledge it. Look at how Angela Rye's looking at him. She's looking like, bro, you ain't want to answer that question. It takes away power from you. It takes away the validity of your voice. It takes away from us maybe believing the stuff that you said previously. You just said he's a private sector guy. Maybe there's certain advantages. Cool. He shouldn't be giving stock advice. Just leave it at that. You don't have to give people. I don't know. Maybe y'all see it a little differently than me. Let me. I think Steve had a comment. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, all of this type of rhetoric is designed to get folks divided and thinking with their emotions instead of with their heads. I agree completely. All of this. Like, I just don't understand why do we allow these people to divide us, to separate us? It's like we know the play's coming. We know that they're going to try to pin us against each other because it's in their best interest, but we still allow our emotions to go against each other. We still allow it. I don't know. Well, I think that's all. Well, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.